This is my last video of 2023, which is quite honestly crazy to think about. And while I do make videos every single week talking about the car market, Turo, and car sharing, I don't do a whole lot of videos on this channel anymore talking about my fleet, what's going on with my Turo cars, and what I have planned for the future. And while I do have a vlog channel with my husband HP where we talk about a lot of this stuff, I haven't talked about it here on this channel in a very long time. This is something that I do want to start doing maybe once every 6 to 12 months, and so in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the current state of my Turo fleet, what happened this past year with my car sharing fleet, as well as some of the plans that I have for 2024. So let's get started. So first, let's do a recap of what happened this year. This year, we added 8 cars to the fleet, a 2013 and 2007 Lexus, which have since both been sold, a Lincoln Navigator L and a Scion IQ, which are the most recent purchases, a 2011 Volvo S40, 2011 four-door Toyota Yaris, 2013 Mercedes C250, and a 2011 Mazda 3. We also had 2 total losses this year, which is actually quite a small amount for our fleet. Our 2012 Toyota Yaris, which was totaled in May by a guest who was caught in a Texas hailstorm, and our 2011 Premium Ford Focus, which was damaged over the summer in a collision with a guest. That one was a tough loss. This year, we've also been plagued with recalls like never before, and currently we have 3 cars out for recalls, which have been out since October, maybe even September. Our Hyundai Tucson, Hyundai Sonata Hybrid, and our Kia Rio. Because of the fact that these cars were paid for in cash, meaning they have really no monthly reoccurring expenses for them other than insurance, we're going to just be keeping these cars until the recall is resolved, at which point we'll get the recall addressed and then we'll relist them on Turo, but until then they're just staying parked. We also sold our RV, which is something that I was extremely happy to see go, and we hit our 1-year anniversary of renting out our camper van. This year, in fact, as we speak, we've had our longest Turo trip ever, which has been 6 months. A guest has had our 2014 Toyota Yaris since June of this year, making this our longest trip in the history of our Turo fleet. In fact, this year more than ever, we've had a ton of extended rentals. We had a 5-month-long trip which ended in November. We've had multiple 30 or 60-day trips and plenty of 2 to 3 week long trips. In addition, HP and I also visited the Turo Power Host Summit where I was asked to speak on a panel. I met a ton of you guys who watched the channel and it was quite honestly an incredible experience. We ended the year with 29 cars in our fleet, 33 if you want to include our personal cars, though I know they technically don't count. But in addition to Turo, we updated the car sharing masterclass with a new second iteration, making it what I strongly believe is the best car sharing course on the market. And to top all of that off, HP and I bought our first rental property. We also hired a part-time employee to help with our Turo fleet, and I now have editors that help me with my YouTube channel and shorts. Up until this year, I was doing all of the editing for my channel by myself, and it was quickly becoming a bit too much to keep up with. If I could summarize 2023, I would say that it was a year of delegation and laying the foundation for explosive growth in 2024. Now, as far as what we have planned for 2024 and what you can expect to see from this channel, in 2023, our goal was to reach 35 cars, and obviously we didn't reach that. We only made it to 29 cars with Turo, which is fine. Not getting to 35 cars was the right choice, given the fact that we have 3 cars out with recalls with no remedy at the moment. This summer, we had a ton of issues with ACs in our cars, which set us back. And of course, buying and fixing up our rental property meant that for about 6 weeks, buying new cars was put on the back burner. So while we technically didn't reach our goal of getting to 35 cars, it ultimately was because we had other projects going on, and that is perfectly okay. But then that of course begs the question of how many cars do we want to get to in 2024? And that's a question that I'm still trying to figure out the answer to. We remained extremely well utilized throughout 2023, but one thing that I'm hyper aware of, especially given the fact that our fleet is growing to quite a large number, and given the fact that we don't offer delivery and we're not near the airport, is oversaturation. I want to be hyper aware of the fact that I don't want to buy a car and then have that car pull business from my other cars. I want to make sure that I'm not just buying cars to buy them, and that whenever I buy cars, I'm filling a need in my market, and I'm creating more business amongst my fleet. I'm not taking away business from my other cars. And truthfully, as my fleet has gotten larger, this has been an area that I've been paying attention to most. And because of this, I'm not really sure what number I want to get to in 2024 with my car count. But I do know areas where I do want to expand my fleet moving forward, at least add a couple of cars here and there, specifically targeting a niche. For example, ultra cheap cars. One of our highest utilized cars in our fleet is our 2007 Ford Focus. This car was purchased back in around 2018 for $2,300, and it rents for $27 per day. This car gets rented out constantly. It is constantly on back-to-back rentals, and it's been absolutely bulletproof. And I believe that there's always going to be a demand for those cars in that $25 to $27 price range, and because of this, I would like to buy more cars that fill that need. But it's tricky because in order to price your cars that cheap and still make money, you have to buy cars at the right price and you have to purchase the right cars. This is something that I know the market needs and I want to fill that need, so it's something that's definitely on the horizon for 2024. Additionally is a truck. I'm looking to possibly buy an older truck, something that would qualify through Turo either through their specialty vehicles or classic vehicle category. The purpose of this would provide people with a cheap vehicle that they could use to move or haul stuff. Whenever somebody rents a truck, I would say the majority of the time they're renting that truck to do something, whether it be to move stuff, haul something, whatever the case is. And I would like to be able to provide a solution to that problem that people have with a truck that they don't have to worry about damaging. I'm pretty adamantly against renting out nice trucks on Turo for this reason, because if somebody rents a really nice truck, even if it's very expensive, they're probably doing something with that truck, like hauling something in the bed. And with that comes a lot of damage. But if I could rent out a cheap, affordable truck, then if there's some damage that happens to the bed, it's not that big of a deal. So it makes it the perfect truck for people to use for moving things. So either buying an older, cheaper truck or possibly even buying like a simple fleet truck could be the solution to that problem, and that's probably something that we will be experimenting with this year. And in addition to these specific types of vehicles I want to look into, we're of course always going to be keeping an eye out for below market value finds. We will definitely be getting to 30 cars this year, but past that number, I'm not entirely sure. I'll keep you guys updated if I end up locking down a number that I want to aim for specifically. Another big change that's almost without a doubt coming this year is a shop. In 2022, HP and I talked extensively about getting a shop, and then we ultimately ended up putting that on the back burner, and we told ourselves that a shop probably wouldn't come in either 2022 or 2023. But we knew that in 2024, depending on the situation, we may need to get a shop then. And as we approach 2024, it is becoming more and more clear that a shop is probably on our horizon sooner than later. There are a few key reasons as to why getting a shop is something we're wanting to do. First is our employee, Michael. We currently have a part-time employee that works with us. He helps manage the fleet, work on cars, clean cars. It's a great situation. But as we currently have our fleet, we do a lot of the work outside of our house. And given the fact that Michael is our employee, he has access to our house and our garage basically 24/7. This works out great with Michael because of the fact that he's actually our neighbor. We've known him for a very long time, since he was about 10 years old, so there's a level of trust that comes along with that. Not only that, but we also know his parents quite well, so there really isn't any concern of having him have access to our house. But unfortunately, next year, Michael has indicated that he'll probably be quitting this job because of the fact that he's a college student and he'll need to get an internship in the fall of 2024, at which point we will need to hire somebody else to help out with the fleet. And unfortunately, this person most likely won't be somebody that we know prior to hiring them, and so for obvious reasons, it's not a good idea to give them access to our house 24/7. And so for safety reasons, we know that once we hire a new person to help with the fleet, we'll probably need to get a shop at that time, if not sooner. Another problem is that we're just kind of growing out of the current space that we have. Our neighbors have been incredibly cool about us having a surplus of cars, but between HP and I's 3 personal cars, the van which is stored at our house, between rentals, and then the cars that either are out for recalls or out for repairs, sometimes our house is just getting flooded with cars. Not to mention the fact that with our current setup, we can only really work on 1, maybe 2 cars at a time, and so it does limit the speed of which we can get cars repaired if there is an issue. It would be nice to have a small secondary shop where we can not only store cars, but we could have a lift and work on cars there. That way, in a worst case scenario, we can have 2 locations to store cars, 2 different shops to work on them, and we can relieve some of the pressure of having everything based out of our house, which up until now has been working great, but I worry that it won't work for very much longer. And number 3, we're wanting to embark on some new projects in 2024, and while I'm not prepared to talk about those publicly, these projects will definitely benefit from having a shop. For all of these reasons, a shop is most likely going to happen this year. One of the biggest pivots that happened this year was real estate. I've talked about this on and off on this channel. I've talked about it a lot on my blog channel with my husband HP, but real estate is something that I've been wanting to get into for a very long time, and I knew that 2023 would be the year that I would do that. The goal for this year was to purchase multiple properties, but we only ended up purchasing 1, but the goal for 2024 is to purchase 4. So have 5 total, 6 if we include our primary residence. I get asked all the time, if Turo is so lucrative, then why are you looking to diversify into real estate? Why don't you just invest into more cars? And to me, the answer is really simple. Turo is a cash flow generator, while real estate is a wealth generator. There's a reason why the majority of billionaires make their wealth or retain their wealth through real estate, and it's because it works. We're at the point now where we're growing our fleet at a pace that we like, a pace that we're comfortable with, and a pace that is sustainable to us. And we're at the point now where we'd like to diversify that income not only into more cash flowing ventures, but ones that can help us generate long-term generational wealth. And that's really where real estate comes into play. Now, when it comes to real estate, we're actually going a different approach, and we're going to be investing in Section 8 real estate specifically, or at least that's going to be our target audience, which is a topic that I will absolutely be doing a series on, so you'll hear more about this on my channel in the future. The thing is, Section 8 real estate is such a contentious topic and everybody has an opinion about it. But in the case of my business model and what I'm wanting to accomplish with my husband HP, I feel so incredibly confident that Section 8 is the business model for us. There are a lot of parallels to my current Turo business model and the Section 8 business model. And while I'm not going to go into a ton of depth in this video, it is something that you should stay tuned for if you're interested in learning more about this, because this is definitely the path that we'll be taking moving forward. But this journey into Section 8 hasn't come without its hurdles. From buying horrible Section 8 courses, which again, I will talk about more in the future, to opening LLCs prematurely, setting my sights on one market, and then after 8 months choosing that I actually want a different market because that original market might be oversaturated, it has certainly been a process that not only has set us back time-wise, but has also cost us money as well. But that's just part of the learning curve. But in addition to really honing in on that Section 8 market, the specific strategy that we're going to use to acquire real estate properties is the BRRRR method. Now, for those of you who don't know what the BRRRR method is, this is just a method of acquiring real estate, and it stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. And so how this would work is you would buy a property that needs work, you would get that work done in the house to make improvements, you would then rent out that house, then you would refinance it for hopefully more than you paid for it, then you would just rinse and repeat that process over and over again. We're going to be doing this exact same thing, but with Section 8 in mind, so the houses that we'll be going after are significantly cheaper, something in the $50,000 to $70,000 range. Again, this is something that I can make an entire video series on, so stay tuned for that. And then, of course, on top of all of this, we have this YouTube channel. I do want to incorporate some new styles of content into this channel. Now, I do have my vlog channel with my husband HP. I also have a TikTok and an Instagram. So for this channel, I definitely don't want to leave this studio, and I still will be doing these like talking head style videos. But I do want to try out new things that'll either be interesting or helpful to the viewers. I'm not quite ready to talk about this publicly because I'm still kind of ironing out the details, but that is something that you should stay tuned for. It's not only going to be car sharing related, but also Turo related as well. My 3-year anniversary here on YouTube is coming up in about a month, which is crazy to think about. And so I want to figure out ways to keep the content fresh, keep you guys interested, and of course, make sure that the content that I'm making doesn't go stale. So again, stay tuned for that in 2024. But there you guys have it, what I have done this year, what I have planned for the upcoming year. I appreciate all of you that come every single week, 3 times a week to watch my videos. Those of you that I met at the Turo Host Power Summit, those of you that message me, that see my videos on Instagram or TikTok, the support truly means so much to me, and I can never express how thankful I am to you guys for supporting me all these years. I hope that you guys have a wonderful New Year's. I hope they have a great start to 2024, and I'll see you guys in the next video.